So for today, you are just going to want something that you can sit on, like a folded towel or blanket. I'm using one of those chip foam blocks, two regular 3-inch or 4-inch blocks, or some books, and a strap, something that is not stretchy, perhaps a waistband to a house coat. So to get started, you're just going to sit on the floor and place your towel or blanket or chip foam block underneath you, sitting pretty close to the edge of that object so that your pelvis naturally tilts forward and your spine can sit long and tall without effort. Just shift around to get comfortable. And we'll just start to introduce some spinal movement, inhaling to send the chest forward, exhaling to round it back, really rolling forward and back on your sits bones here. I'll show you from another angle here, but this is kind of a tiny cat-cow movement, but more so we're focusing on introducing some pelvic tilting. It'll give you a taste of what that block's actually doing for you when you can sit up really tall and effortlessly with a bit of a forward tilt to your pelvis. All right, now we're just going to pause and settle in again. Wiggle around at any point if you need to. And you're just going to breathe. So hands can rest on the knees if that's comfortable. Just noticing the expansion of your rib cage, the rise and fall of your chest. If your breath goes all the way down to your belly. And notice if there's any other areas that get tight as you inhale, like it's trying to help you take a bit of a bigger breath. Just take it back a bit so you're relaxed. Now we're going to start to bring our legs out in front of us. And just start with the feet out ahead first, and just one foot at a time, you're going to start to send your legs wide. Now it's okay if you feel a little bit of a stretch here, but we're not going for a really strong stretch. So just keep it at a comfortable width. So just settle in, make sure that you're comfortable here. Now you can grab one of your blocks or books and bring it in front of you to put your hands on. What you're doing here is hinging forward at your hips. Your spine is coming forward as if you want to fold down towards the floor. But you're going to be mindful that you're not just rounding your back to move your head forward and down. You can play with pulling the toes back and pointing them a few times. Here I'm just going to show you from the side here that as I lean forward, my spine is nice and straight and the movement's coming from the hip joints. I'm not rounding my spine to make it feel like my head has moved forward. I'm actually moving my whole torso forward. All right, so you can enjoy a nice long deep breath here. And then we're going to start to walk ourselves back upright and have the blocks or books on either side of your hips. We're going to start introducing some side flexion through the torso. So one hand's going to rest on a book, the other's going to inhale upward, and then you're going to start to curve through that side body. Really gentle. Again, we're not necessarily going for a really strong stretch sensation. More so, we want to make sure that the stretch is coming from in between your pelvis and your rib cage and up through your side body to your armpit, rather than the bum cheek just leaving the floor. So partly why I like doing this in a wide-legged position is with the legs out to the side and straight, it creates a much more stable base, and you're really going to notice if your foot and leg starts to slide on that floor, if the butt cheek starts to lift. Now I'm going to show you here how you can just place the hand on the hip if you're having some shoulder issues and bringing the arm up into the air is painful. You're just going to lose out on a little bit of that lengthening through the the side, chest, armpit, and arm. That's all. Here, this is from a side angle. You can see when I lift my hand here, I'm not putting a lot of weight in that hand on the book. It's just kind of back up. And as I side bend, I'm also not leaning forward accidentally or back or twisting. I'm really trying to target that side line of the body. All right, and when you're ready, you can just come back to sitting upright, nice and tall. Bring a block or book in front of you and just revisit that forward fold. Notice if maybe after doing some side flexion movement, maybe you can fold forward a little bit more with a straight spine. All right, and then we're going to just start to sit up tall again, start to walk in those legs, coming out of that wide-legged position, and just return to the original cross-legged position, still sitting on your towel or block, and just revisit how this feels compared to when you first started. Now, the next thing that we're going to do here is called strap and block. So you're going to want either a folded towel kind of thick, a 3-inch block or a book that you can place between your thighs like this, and then a yoga strap or a house coat waist strap that you can do up around your thighs, containing everything. Now, this is going to be fairly snug, but not so tight that it's really digging into your skin or cutting off circulation by any means. And you want that strap to be sort of mid-thigh rather than right up towards the knee joints. So here I'll show you what this looks like from the side. Okay, so you're going to lay back, feet are on the floor, and just relax. And you'll notice that this alone is a really nice position. If you have back pain, this might be really great. The strap and block is supporting your legs in a nice neutral position, and you can let all the tension in your legs, pelvic floor, abdomen, back just relax. So now you're going to take your fingertips and find those pokey outy bones at the front of your hips at the lower belly and just dip your fingertips below them to where it gets soft. And what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to gently press my thighs out away from each other into the strap, and then I'm starting to gently press them back towards each other into the block. And I'm feeling with my fingertips for if that area stays nice and soft. If you're doing this and you notice this great big hard tendon pop up under your fingertips, that's your hip flexor. And the movement we're doing, thighs away, thighs together, is not hip flexion. So your hip flexor is being an eager beaver and helping out where it doesn't really need to. So what you're going to do is you're just going to press lighter and lighter and lighter into the strap and into the block until you get that tendon not kicking in. And that's the pressure that you're going to stay at. And when you need a break, you can just let your arms come back down to the floor. And then you can try again if you want to. So here I'm just going to show this to you from a different angle so that you can see I've got my fingertips in place. I'm feeling for that tendon, and you might be able to see just ever so slightly that my thighs are moving away from each other and then in towards the block. It's very slow. I'm matching it to my breath. It doesn't matter if you inhale when you push out and exhale when you push in or the other. Just match it to a nice, slow, even breath. All right, we're going to sit ourselves up here. And we're going to take the strap and block situation off of our legs. All right, so let's just come back to that original position where you're sitting on the block in a cross-legged position and just check back in with how things might have changed since we very first started. You can revisit a little bit of that breath, a little bit of that pelvic tilting here if you want to. And let's come back into our wide-legged position. See if maybe your legs feel a little more comfortable, a little wider. Pull those toes back, point them, get that length changing the back and the front of the leg. Try folding the torso forward slightly at the hips. Maybe that's a little deeper now. Just a bit of a reassessment. And when you're ready, you can come out of that, return to your seated position, take a few deep breaths, and move on with your day.